we have officially finished our first quarter of the TeejVeen channel streaming. For those of you who are unaware, we've picked up some new viewers along the way. I started streaming on May 16th. That was my very first stream. It was day one of the Super Mario 64 16-star learning saga. And I thought it would be fun since we like to spend the first 10-20 minutes doing updates of every sort. I think this is something I want to do because this is aligned to my broader streaming goal, which I'm not sure if I've shared before. Shortly into me starting streaming and then committing to 5 days a week streams, I told myself that in May of 2026, by May of 2026, I wanted to have streamed for 1,000 hours. Because in my head, I was like, I really love streaming. I've always cared about streaming. I know that if I stream for 1,000 hours, the quality streamer I would be by then would be massively improved. And in terms of goals, I've learned over the past few years, it's a lot more important to measure those goals based on the things that you actually have control over and not things you don't have control over. In the past, when I first started my YouTube channel, I was like, I want to get 100 subscribers before the end of the year. Especially when you're a fledgling brand new channel, it's kind of impossible to have a goal like that. It's cool if you meet it, but it's not the most achievable goal, right? Like you don't have control over whether or not people subscribe. It's cool, but it's not something that you have direct control over. So this time with the stream, I decided to operate a little differently. Now I would love to share the analytics of our TeejVeen Q1 with all of you right now. So let's do that. Let's look at Twitch first, because I think this stuff is interesting, especially for people unacquainted with the content grind. So over the course of 77 days, this is from May 16th to July 31st, we averaged on Twitch 1.7 average viewers. So if you guys are also well-versed in this stream, you'll also be aware that our viewership and our average viewership, we have a very active, lovely community. Most of it's on YouTube. It's strange to think that if the YouTube side of this multi-stream didn't exist, I'd be a 0 to 3 viewer streamer, which I'm used to. Like I've said before, I've streamed with my roommate Austin. We streamed on Left Stage Arts, and this was basically our numbers. 0 to 3 viewers. So first make note of that. It's what a lot of people have said. Discoverability on Twitch is kind of terrible, maybe less. That's what I'm saying, Angel. It would be even less because I think we get some viewership on Twitch from YouTube, right? Like I know you have a different account. Like we get a bunch of viewership from the people who've discovered on YouTube. So yeah, I could just be like a 0-1 viewer person. As someone who has streamed 230 hours over the past 77 days. So yes, you will notice this is the only quarter of us starting to stream where it won't be a full 90 days because I started halfway into the month of May. It's a me, Serial. I'm going to keep the Twitch open in the background. Hell yeah, Serial. Gordell Grosby on Twitch. Thank you for the follow. I feel like you have to search really, really hard on Twitch. Yeah, Finite. Twitch is just like a different beast, and that's why a lot of content creators these days, they just recommend on top of diversifying across platforms, don't be a monolith on Twitch. And I've actually learned this from firsthand experience. A lot of mine and my roommate Austin's time on Left Stage Arts, we streamed like 2 or 3 days a week for the better part of 2 years, but we just kind of streamed on Twitch and we got good views. We got like a couple raids here and there. If we had been on other platforms, the potential growth would have been a lot better. So I recommend anyone getting into streaming, multi-stream if you can. Don't beat yourself up over Twitch. Twitch is very hard to broach into. What's up, Done With Everything? Speaking of Left Stage Arts, Done With Everything is an OG from the Left Stage Arts days. Shout out Done With Everything. Twitch is absolute hell? Yeah. Twitch's whole stream focus? Yeah, exactly. Like, YouTube has a bunch of other avenues for people to discover your channel and your content. The discoverability on Twitch does not favor small streamers. I don't like Twitch that much anyway. Based. But yeah, so guys, I think this is just important because a lot of people are very excited by the growth we're experiencing on this channel. And I just wanted to call that out. Like, I'm also very proud of it. But if we were a Twitch only stream, the analytics are not great. We've gotten 83 follows. Follows also don't mean too much on Twitch. 230 hours. This is what I really care about. So let's look at this metric together. So like I said, I started May 16th. This was a Friday. This was my shortest stream. I just told myself, basically, guys, for full context, Thursday, May 15th was when I was at my job and they pulled me into like a last minute scheduled check-in meeting. And they told me that I was being laid off. That was Thursday, May 15th. Friday, May 16th was the first day I started streaming. I streamed for 2 hours. I went in with it like, I'm just going to stream as long as I can handle it. If I start getting tired or like I'm not feeling it, I'm going to stop. Then after that, I was like, okay, maybe I'll stream 3 days a week. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You'll notice on Friday, I streamed for 6 hours. So like I was telling myself in my mind, I just wanted to kind of stream for like 3 hours per stream. I don't remember this stream day really, but something told me to push to 6 hours. So after this stream, that was signal to me. It was like, okay, I have a little more to give here. You're absolutely right that follows do not matter. I got a couple of bots following me, even though I've done a grand total of 0 streams. Yeah, it's just followers in general aren't a helpful metric across many platforms. That's why genuinely, like, the only reason I'm pushing for 1,000 subscribers, guys, is so that we can get YouTube monetized. I will not beg for YouTube subscriptions ever again after that. I promise. Like, it's just a vanity metric. It doesn't actually matter across platforms. What matters much more is viewership and watch time. Like, those are just the things that actually matter. So yeah, I get into this second week of 3 days a week streams, and I'm still averaging like 5 hours, sometimes 6 hours. This was the first week where I was like, okay, I think I want to do 5 days a week streams. I think Wednesday was when we filmed a BOGO Boys video. Shout out BOGO Boys. Be sure to go to subscribe to that. That's where I make IRL content with my friends Austin and Quinn. Quinn, you know from the Nuzlocke Soul Link Challenge that we are going to be finishing up tomorrow. So I did 4 days this week, and it was a bit of a stretch because it was the most I'd ever streamed ever in my life. I'd never streamed 4 days in a week. But I think the results speak for themselves. After this playtest week, I was like, let's try 5. And we just haven't stopped since. So when I talk about consistency with goals, guys, this is what I'm talking about. I don't want to just preach it. I also want to practice it. So in line again, to bring this full circle, my goal of I want to get 1,000 hours of total time streamed before May of 2026. I crunched the numbers. I did the math. I was like, if I average 4 hours of streaming 5 days a week, I will be on track for my goal of streaming 1,000 hours by May 2026. And that has been my strategy ever since. And that is how my strategy is going to be minimum until May 2026. I don't know what it's going to be going past that, but that is going to be my through line. That is kind of like my mantra to get me through it. And it's been working really well. What's up, Aiden? Welcome to the stream. I'm just going over analytics for the end of Q1 of my channel streaming experience. But I'm really proud of this because we can't control this. We can't control this. We can't control unique viewers. We can't control unique chatters. This is the only metric that, as a creator, as a streamer, you can control is your input. And the only inconsistency was at the beginning when I was getting my bearings and getting my feet wet. But by the beginning of June, we got the recipe and we stuck to it. What's up, Stutzy? Welcome to the stream. So I'm very proud of that. Now, we're about to jump to YouTube. The next thing I want to point out here, notice, over the course of 77 days, we had 398 unique viewers on Twitch. That seems like a pretty impressive number. That seems like a pretty big number on paper. Like, you think about that, like, you think about like a college auditorium, houses like a few hundred people. That's pretty impressive. On YouTube, now this isn't unique views. We'll jump into that in a second, but our first 77 days of streaming and creating shorts content and other content in general, we had 257.5K views. Versus on Twitch, 398. Now, again, this isn't a perfect equivalency. We'll burrow down a little deeper here in a sec. Yes, Retector. WoW is the word. 250,000. Now, granted, and for those, some of you are probably already thinking this, most of those views are from shorts. Let's not look at that yet. That's a surprise. Some of you may have already seen it. So of that 250K, 244.5K of those views are shorts. That's 95% of our viewership over the past 77 days. However, remember this number, 398 unique viewers on our stream. We remember that Twitch is only stream-based. For our live streams on YouTube, we got 11.3K. So even in live stream unique views, well, no, this isn't unique views yet, but even in terms of like views in our live stream only content, YouTube completely eclipses Twitch. Which speaks more to kind of like the impossible discoverability on Twitch. That being said, let's look at the unique views. 98K people discovered and saw this channel for the first time through shorts. Does that count if you watch the VOD after the stream ended? As I understand it, Angel, VODs become videos after it's streamed. Live stream views should be uniquely during the course of a live stream. I could be incorrect. That is my present understanding of it. So this metric is just new viewers, people who have not viewed this channel before. 98K. Granted, that doesn't mean they converted to live streams, but 98K people versus Twitch's 400 saw my face for the first time ever. 4.6K viewers watch the live stream. That is 10 times. We'll even round up and call this 400 on Twitch. Over 10 times the amount of people discovered and found the stream on YouTube. I don't know. This is just interesting to me, and I want this, like, I know some people have talked about being inspired by the stream and wanting to start streaming. If there is one thing I can impart to anybody, do not solo stream on Twitch. I think that's a pretty common, I think that's common knowledge to a lot of people in the creator space today. But just in case it isn't, and someone here watching isn't aware, do not solo stream on Twitch. It is a bad strategy. It's a bad idea. I would say bare minimum multi-stream on both Twitch and YouTube, because at least on YouTube, you can create shorts that then point to your VODs on YouTube. What's up, SKW Slice? Welcome to the stream. I know we're almost 20 minutes in the stream, guys. I want to wrap up with one final thought. You'll also notice this tab, which I only recently unlocked with YouTube partnership. That was when we finally met the watch time threshold, and now we have memberships. Speaking of SKW Slice, who's a member, Finite, who's a member. Yes, money, Finite. I want to be transparent about this and always share updates on this, just because I think this is a weird thing to gatekeep, and I think it's also fun for you guys to see. So I want to do regular quarterly updates. This is our first quarter. We're going to have many more quarters. I know it's very like businessy, but I think that people genuinely have an interest in content and like the creative space online. So it's like, I don't think it's totally cringy like business core. Imagine numbers when you hit monetization. Exactly, Retector. So the main thing I want to point out here, because we've had some people confused about it before in chat. Some people thought that when I got 500 subscribers and 3,000 3,000 watch time hours, and I got monetization, that I got the full YouTube monetization. Now that has changed on YouTube. I don't remember when they changed it. They changed it, I think, around 5 years ago. 4402 since you got memberships enabled. How many hours is that? I'm not sure. But I'm not too worried about when we got it enabled. I think what you really should look at is, and this is just in terms of time streamed, guys, like, let's be real for ourselves. So 230 hours of my time streamed divided, or no, $44.02 divided by 230 hours. This does not include the amount of time I worked off stream editing shorts or doing any sort of ideation or any of that. But keep this in mind. If we were purely just crunching this off of the number of hours I have streamed since starting streaming 3 months ago, yes, Retector. I have averaged 19 cents an hour for the amount of labor I've done. If that seems upsetting to you, that is why the 1,000 subscriber goal is so important. Because once we reach 1,000 subscribers, this revenue we've gotten is only off of memberships. It's only off of super chats. It's only off of people in this community who have been kind enough to spend their hard-earned money to support the stream. YouTube has not paid me a single frickin' cent. YouTube has not paid me a single cent. So many VODs, so many streams, so many views. I haven't seen a penny from it because I don't have 1,000 subscribers. So that was the main reason I wanted to share all this, because I think it demonstrates a little more of why the 1,000 subs is so important. Since we've unlocked memberships and super chats, I know that maybe to some people, like, this seems like a small chunk of change. It's more money than YouTube's given me. Straight up. Like, keep it a buck. YouTube's given me no bucks. YouTube only pays when you get 1K subs. Doesn't YouTube tax quite a lot? That's a whole another thing, Stutzy. Also unrelated, but if you get a sub 21 this stream, I will give 3 subs. Oh shit, nice SKW Slice. The goal for today's stream is we're getting the sub 20. So, sub 21 is not going to be a problem. Because we're getting the sub 20 today's stream. Of course, it's smaller. You're just getting started. Keep it up and it gets bigger. No, Retector, I fully agree. Don't get me wrong. I'm very inspired. I'm very motivated. I'm very happy with how much luck we've had in this first quarter of streaming. I know that we're only going to go up and get better. I just wanted to share this with you all because I think it's very telling about how much YouTube kind of shafts small creators. Because getting your first 1,000 subscribers, many people have said, is one of the hardest things to do as a creator on YouTube. It becomes a lot easier after those first 1,000 subscribers. It's not about money, though. It's about community and fun. Yes, Retector, and I do agree with you. Like, that is what I care about. At the end of the day, I just want to be completely honest. If I can't make this, like, monetizable and have it pay my bills, there is a version of reality where I have to stop streaming. There is a version of reality where I have to get a job. Exactly, Stutzy. Like, don't get me wrong. My priority is creating a community and having fun on stream and making sure that everyone's entertained and the vibes are good. If we can't make this something that pays my bills, I'm not talking about being rich. I'm not talking about being obscenely wealthy. But if I can't make this something that is my job, it's over, you know? Now, don't get me wrong. Yeah, sorry. Definitely censor that. But I just want to keep that a buck. I want to keep my intentions clear. I mean, I think I've made that pretty clear since, especially for those of you watching right now, you're in most of the streams and you see me shilling for 1,000 subscribers all the time. This is why that's important. Because you can see insane metrics like this, which again, in the grand scheme of things, you know, apples to apples comparison, these aren't crazy numbers compared to bigger creators, but it's still big numbers that I'm not seeing any return for in terms of compensation from YouTube. The vibes are good. You sound like a clever person to me. Thank you, Mark. Yeeting. What's up, Danny? But with that being said, guys, it's been a very successful first quarter. 1K subs is the need. Yes, guys. And I think statistics are very powerful because they're able to demonstrate why that's so important. And I'm excited, guys. Once we get 1,000 subscribers, I'm excited to share those updated analytics with you all at that point in time. I don't think I would forget, but just in case, guys, if we come up on like another 3 months of streaming and content and I forget, remind me that we want to look at the analytics. That should be at this rate. What? This is the end of July. August, September, October. We'll look at analytics again at the end of October, guys. So probably Halloween.